All right, let's get started. 65 push-ups today. I'm at 2,100 and some. So it's fun now because like the number just jumps up every couple of days quite a bit. So now I did like today, yesterday I did like half and half. I did half of them and then I rode the bike for 3 minutes and then I did the other half. Today I did 50 of them and then I did 14 after the bike. So or 15 of them after the bike. So it's cool. It's cool to see it going up like this. So I'm having fun with that. And then I'm grateful Jack is doing a killer job. So everything you're doing is really, it's just so eye opening when you put a fresh set of eyes on what is going on and somebody figures out that, we have processors that might be spending 10 hours a week in pipeline meetings. Like, oh my God, like we're taking 25% of their week and having them not process. It's crazy. And so just really appreciate all the digging in that you're doing and keep it up. It's going great. Ryan, go ahead, buddy.
I am grateful. I actually started going to a cool new doctor's office. And there's a couple things that popped up that I probably wouldn't have known if I went to a normal doctor's office. I go to this functional health place in Lone Tree, like doesn't take traditional like health insurance. And it's really cool. They're just
Uh,
like super detailed. And so I'm super grateful that I was able to find them because I've just felt a little off like health wise and we've kind of figured out why. So I'm just kind of stoked for that, which is sweet. Um,
Hold
and
on.
yeah, it's just kind of like rejuvenating,
What's
honestly.
the name of it?
It's called Big Life.
Huh. I don't need another health thing or it'll kill me if I sign
You
up.
okay, man, or just like a little stuff?
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's
Uh,
all good. Yeah.
um,
Grateful for that and a little bit of a slower week lead wise, only a couple leads, but was able to get a contract in, got some other clients making offers, had 3 closings this week, so that was sweet. And then wins, I've got a couple.
you hit a couple of those closings too, didn't you?
Yeah,
You went to
I went to 2 out of 3. One of them was in
uh,
Colorado Springs, so I didn't go to that, um but yeah, it's nice. The Snap Docs, man. It's great. Great.
right.
Every closer's like, "Oh my God, your packet's this big. It's fantastic. We're gonna fly through this." And the realtor looks at me like, each time they're stoked. So yeah, no, that's sweet. And I mean, I honestly I feel like my win is just having more pre-approvals than I've ever had. Granted, it hasn't really translated into production just yet, but I know that'll come. So I'm just trying to continue that momentum.
Yeah, you got a good number. It was like 29 I saw the other day or something like that.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah.
Hold on. Good job. Mike.
I am grateful today for as jacked up as this country feels all the time. I'm so grateful for this country. We have Misty and I have an acquaintance from California. Trump won the election within 2 days. She spent tens of thousands of dollars, immigration attorney within a few weeks, packed up, was in Portugal. Like, I'm out. Here we are, fast forward 3 months. She's like, yeah, this place sucks. I'm coming back, and so I'm just grateful that, for the peace and like, you know what? We live in a good place. We're in a good industry. And, kind of like we talked about yesterday on the mastermind, grass is always greener. That's because there's more bullshit on that side of the fence. That's why it's green.
That's funny. That's really funny. I'm out of here. Oh, wait. This sucks. Go ahead, G.
Good morning. Um, I am grateful for Jack too. She's just it was very nice being in the office with her yesterday because we talked about a few things that I was seeing and she's like, I'll get this handled today, where before I was like, just checking back on this suggestion from a month ago. Anything happening? And like crickets. So thanks, Jack. I know you said it sucked. That job sucks, and I believe it. So thanks for helping us all out. Um, so I am grateful for that. I'm grateful I'm feeling a little bit better. Half marathon training started, so I'm feeling good. And the win for the week is just a lot of activity. So we got some contracts, I think 5 contracts, couple refis, and one of them hasn't locked yet because the market kind of moved. I was having a little tech glitch issue in Encompass, but I'm sure probably tomorrow I'm hoping tomorrow it'll be back and we'll get it locked in. So grateful that out of some of the new activity, a good amount are clients that I spoke to a year ago, 2 years ago that got pre-approved and then ended up doing nothing and then came back, and just, staying in touch with them every 4 to 6 months, with a message or a text of some kind, seems to have worked. So let's see here. Looks like 9 leads. We talked about contracts, added like 3 pre-approvals, and yeah, there's a good amount of pre-approvals out there right now. So
Thanks. Mr. Application, Jay Manwaring. What you got, buddy?
Thanks, Dave.
You got
Appreciate it.
you got 2 locks in here today, in this week.
Yeah, and I just got another application this morning, so I'm gonna have 3 this week. So I'm really excited. Sorry,
There
I'm
you
a
go,
little.
buddy. Congratulations. That's
sick.
really cool. Good for you.
Thanks. Let's see. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for that, but I'm also grateful that lacrosse season's here. For 2 reasons. I get to watch my son play. I'm a referee, so I get paid to exercise. So it's amazing. And they upped our rate as a referee. So I have all like night games. Like my games start at like 7 o'clock this entire season. So I'll be grinding it out. I think that's how I got a little sick, was on Tuesday night. I had a game. So it was a little tough, but excited about that. I had a couple good wins this week. We'll start with a good one where my son wrecked our car. So I had to go to Enterprise to get a rental car. And I'm wearing my Zenith hoodie. And this guy's like, "You work for Zenith Home Loans?" He's like, "You know Ryan Pettigrew?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we start chatting it up. And then he's a big lacrosse guy. And then like 2 other guys in the office are lacrosse guys. And it was like, this person, and like a quick trip turned into like an hour there. But it was great. It was fun. And one of the guys that was working there, he's a new real estate agent, like brand new, just got his license. So I invited him I'm doing a building your generational wealth event next Thursday at Coal Mine Brewery with a couple of real estate agents and an insurance person. And so I invited him to come just to check it out, and he already signed up for it. So that was kind of cool, and looking forward to that. What else? Oh, I got a solid lead from a realtor that I had a really good meeting with about 2 weeks ago, who agreed to give me like 2 or 3 of their next few leads. So I got that. I'm having my pre-approval call with them with the Zoom at like 4 o'clock today. So that's exciting. And then I sponsored this lacrosse league, and like week 1, this was my first week as the sponsor, and all the players are 18 to 35. So I handed out like 50 flyers to my Building Generational Wealth event. I talked to 15 to 20 people each day, Monday night and Tuesday night, about just mortgages, homes, all that stuff. And then I had a good conversation with 2 of the team managers who already added me to their email blast to their teams. So it's been good. And this week I didn't have a ton of leads. I had 2 leads, 3 credit pulls. I'll have 3 contracts as of today, and I'll have 2 new pre-approvals by Friday. So
I'm so happy for you, dude. If anybody doesn't think attitude matters, just listen to this guy, okay? Because attitude is everything. It's everything. So good job, Jay. You're just talking. It's so fun to hear you, because all you did is like, I'm going to just start talking to everybody. And now this is it. This is the fun part about this business is you get to be friends with all these people that you were never going to be friends with because you just start talking to them because you're genuinely interested. And then it's like, it's kind of nice to just know a lot of people and then you're their lender because they like you. So it's really fun. Good job, dude.
Thanks.
Good job. Mr. Reiber.
Yeah, good job, Jay. That's awesome. What an inspiration. I'm actually grateful for Dora because I've had 3 realtors reach out to me because they want to take CE classes, and now I've just kind of turned it around because if I'm not doing a class, I say, hey, if you can get at least three of your realtor buddies together, I'll come teach a class for you. So I've just had realtors reaching out to me just because I've got CE classes I'm teaching. So that's been kind of cool. And then win for the week. I had we're having our house painted, and the guy that came out to kind of walk through, the supervisor, at the end I said, hey, you know anybody that wants to buy a home? He goes, besides me? I go, well, you count. And so we got talking, and he is within the next year he wants to try to buy something, and so him and I kind of work out a plan for that. So just asking people. I just took a page from Jay's book. I'm just going to talk to everybody and ask everybody, who do you know? So that was super cool. That was a great little win for the week. And then as far as numbers, 1 new lead, 1 new credit pull, 1 new pre-approval, and I think I've had 6 or 7 face-to-face so far this week.
Good job, dude. You got 5 people pre-approved right now in the pipeline, so good job. Casey Clement.
Morning, guys. I'm grateful for a good night's sleep. I know I've said that, used it before, but every time you get one, bed at 8:30, wake up without an alarm at 4:45, and you feel great. Let's see, this week, Aubrey's laughing. Like, it's like sleep and daylight are like the greatest things to be grateful for in my world. I'm just going to repeat that forever.
I'm laughing because I had the best night of sleep I've had in a long time too. So I don't know.
It feels good, man.
Scaling energy.
Let's see, this week had 1 lead that I got in this morning, had 1 application, and should have had another one, but there was a refi, and you took my TCA and just sent it out to every other single person. They're like, "Hey, we just got a deal we can't pass up. It's past client too." All right, screw you. And then now I haven't heard back from them at all since Monday. Great.
Well, I've told them to screw off. That might explain it.
Mentally I did. I mean, like, she verbatim told me, she goes, "Yeah, I just sent your total cost analysis to a whole bunch of people and it was like, hey, what can you guys do?" Like, okay.
People are amazed, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like I've done a purchase for her in the past. I've done a refinance for her in the past. They bought a new build home, so they used whatever the new build lender was this past summer, and then we're ready to refi, and oh well. Let's see. I think I covered my numbers. The win for the week. Some people will be familiar with this. My neighbors sent over like a quarter of a king cake, and Tess got the baby, so she was pumped. Dave looks confused.
What are you talking about?
So king cake, it's like a New Orleans, like a Mardi Gras tradition where you have this cake on Mardi Gras. And if they bake a little baby into the cake. And if you get the little toy baby, it's good luck.
It's the baby Jesus.
Huh.
Is it baby? Well, sure. It's baby Jesus, I guess.
Huh.
But
Never heard of it.
She was excited. A lot of you guys know she works for Homeland Security and has been dealing with all the bullshit from the government right now and layoffs and trying to navigate all that. So she was just like one small sign for her, and she was pumped.
Good for her. That's cool. That's good. Lori, did you know what that king cake was? You were laughing. You're like, oh, okay, because you were like laughing at me.
Well, you were taking supers. They made a big deal about it because it's the King cake, and King supers had them all over the place on it. So yeah, you should have known what it was.
I'm not paying attention in the bakery department, apparently.
That's right.
You're up.
Okay. I am grateful today for my for Dean, first of all, because he has submitted my paperwork to Department of Real Estate to do a CE course for some Keller Williams agents. So today I ran it by some of my people in my network group, and they are going to come back next Tuesday and sit with me for the 2 solid hours that I'm going to put content together and go over everything and make it so it's absolutely valuable to real estate agents. Because one of the gals that's going to come and sit with me is a real estate agent. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm happy and excited. Appreciate Jacqueline too, just because Jacqueline. And I just have a really quick story. I know I've talked about a older gentleman that I have been struggling, trying to dragging him to the finish line. He should be clear to close today, but he's not. I sent him an email and I said, hey, do you have a little time to talk today or tomorrow so we can wrap this up and we'll get you ready to go? And here's the things that we're still missing. And I listed 4 things. And how much money do you want at closing? He can have like $250,000 in cash at closing. So I thought he'd be excited about that. He sends me an email back and he says, no. And that was it. I'm like, well, our difficult clients, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? So I think what he meant was, no, we didn't have time to talk, but I had listed 4 things that I needed him to do. And here, how much money do you want? I'm so excited for you, all this stuff. And he just responds, just no. And I'm like, haven't heard from him. And
Is this a win or a is this going to be a win or a gratitude?
I'm not sure. Not sure. So I'm hoping it's going to be a win and a gratitude as soon as I get him to just concentrate. But yeah, the challenge is that we have to, what did we used to always say? Control your borrowers, you know, as ops or as salespeople. It's like, control your borrowers. You guys need to control your borrowers. Well, I'm trying, but this guy is really challenging. So that's just something I have to deal with this week. And I'm happy to do it. It's fun. But that's all I have today.
All right. Thanks. Chris, go ahead.
I'm grateful for Jack too. It's just nice to remember having a good ops person. Manager is very, very important. Kind of gave me some PTSD though. Just kidding. Jackson, an email of a slap on the wrist I got in 2011. Remember that, Dave? She texted the other day.
Jacqueline was so mean. Jacqueline was so mean to Chris in the beginning. It was just like, oh my God, Jacqueline, stop. I think the
Because that's Donnie's buddy. Anyway.
Look how good of a loan officer he is now. You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, super grateful because like, oh yeah, this is what an ops manager does. So hopefully we get the right person that could be half as good as Jack, honestly. Jay, nice work, dude. That's just, it reminds me of when I was in business. Like, it doesn't matter. And I remember Mike White, it's like, it doesn't matter what you do, just find something that sticks and just do it. And mine was open houses, and I would just meet a bunch of realtors. And then I started getting contracts from Judy Pottle. Then I called those listing agents, and it just like snowballed. And it's just weird now. A win I got was I got referred by a client 8 years ago. I helped them buy the home they were renting. They have now moved on. They inherited a home and they're renting, and they want me, or they're selling it to the renters, and the renters called me. So like crazy story where I'm helping the same different people buy the same home in the same situation like 8 years later. So I think you just got to stay in touch with the clients, text them on their birthday, call them, and then just keep doing the work. It works. So Jay, just keep doing it, man. Snowball. Let's see. I've had 3 leads this week, 5 credit pulls, 5 contracts, 4 pre-approvals. 1 already backed out because of inspection, but they'll be back on the hunt. So starting to pick up, and I just think one of these days it's gonna just keep getting better for everybody.
Right on. Thanks, sir. Jack.
I am grateful that I am not the operations manager full time. It's just very, very stressful. But it's been fun kind of getting back into the swing of things. So I'm grateful for just easy everybody's been with everything that's going on, and just a lot of communication, a lot of transparency. I feel like we're making some really good progress. So I'm just really appreciative of everybody's patience while we figure all of this out. When I had a lead that was like, hey, send me your rate on this scenario, and then if it looks good, then we can talk on the phone. And I'm like, no, fuck that. And so I called Dave and I'm like, where's that
I was going to
script?
show.
You're gonna show it?
I was going to
Yeah.
show you that. I want to show that email to everybody because it was a
Anyways,
really. She had a great response to an email.
And he called. I had a great call with him yesterday. I'm sending him updated numbers today to start working on his pre-approval. So I was grateful for that.
We'll pull up that email after we get through all of this. I want you to show it to everybody.
Okay. Numbers, I've got 5 new leads this week, 1 credit pull, 1 new pre-approval, and I had 2 closings this week.
Oh, thank you. Mary Jo.
All right, so this morning I'm grateful for one of my kids hurt himself last night, and I was worried. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a dislocated shoulder. Are we going to be going to the emergency room in the middle of the night? And he's fine this morning. The pain is down. So if it was a dislocation, it wouldn't have been. But I tell you, being a parent is not for the weak of heart, and 4 of our 6 kids are boys, and they have never repeated a way to hurt themselves. There are so many infinite ways for boys to hurt themselves. I don't know how I don't have a million gray hairs by now, but so I'm very grateful. I mean, it's the one that's been in the hospital so much in the past month. And so I'm so grateful that he was he was okay this morning. My win this week, people are a lot more chatty this week with recruiting, which is good. Last week, no one picked up the phone. No one was really talking. But this week they are a lot more interactive. And so that's always a good sign to see.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was good. The boys and girls are so different when you have them. When you have a girl, we had a girl first, Jacqueline, obviously, and she was just all girl. And then as soon as we had Donnie jumping off the freaking couch onto the floor. It was just like, dude, these boys just don't give a shit about what happens to them. It's so weird. So anyway, it's fun. Jonathan.
Morning, team. Jay, way to go on your big week, dude. That's awesome. You keep getting 3 deals a week, man. You're not going to worry about the referee rate coming up. You know what I'm saying? So way to go. Super happy for you. I'm very grateful for my family. I got a lot of time with the Hobbers this past weekend, and my sister was in town from Brooklyn. My mom got back from a big trip. Her birthday is tomorrow. So just really thankful that I get this time with them. Wins for the week. 2 good ones. One, got a pre-approval coming in the door for people who were shopping or who were thinking about buying last summer, but then went on pause and then just popped back up after I'd been following up with them. So getting them wrapped up on the pre-approval. And then 2, working on my conversations with my realtors who are using me for open houses. And I just have been much more direct of like, yeah, I'm happy to support this. If you can commit our relationship moving forward to your next 3 buyer leads or your next listing leads, I would really appreciate that. And like, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.
Good for you.
Yeah. So that felt good. And then numbers wise, 3 or 4 leads, a credit pull, a pre-approval, and then 3 face-to-face.
Right on, Jonathan. That's a productive week. Good job. It's all about the numbers, guys. No matter what we do, it still comes down to, and I was thinking about what Jacqueline uncovered in the operations department. You think about how somebody might be spending 10 hours a week in pipeline meetings. You're like, shit, that's 25% of the week. That's a 40-hour week. That's 25% of the week in meetings talking about the pipeline, but not processing loans. The same applies to us. Like, okay, so how many hours did I spend productively prospecting for new business this week? It's still, it's just a great reminder of taking a step back, getting a fresh set of eyes on what you're doing and evaluating it and making, adjustments just based on that. So great job. Just want to hit on last month's numbers. They weren't, we didn't have, it wasn't a great month. It wasn't like, oh my God, what a great month. 12.5 million is a pretty low month for us, but Giuseppe, great job as usual. 12 families for 5.5 million. Chris Hauber, great month, 5 families for 3.8 million. Ryan Pettigrew, 3.3 for 1.8 million. And then Casey had a great month, 3 loans for 1.8. You got another one in here, I think, for March. So you're up to, or first 2 months of the year at 4 loans. So great job, buddy. Thank you. I know that not everybody had the month that they wanted to have, including me. So, but good job, everybody. So keep that up. I'm going to send you a link so we did that Deep Haven training yesterday. And then at the end of the training, they showed me on their website where they have completed versions of the trainings that they've done. So I'm going to send that link out to everybody. They have the completed Deep Haven deep dive webinars that they've already done. So everything that they showed us yesterday, it doesn't have to be live, although you're not going to get Q&A. But so the DSCR loans, the bank statement loans, they have all of that training is already recorded. So I'll send the link out to that. And then Jacqueline's still not back. I want to grab this email because she reached out to me and she goes, "You believe this guy?" And because it was like totally, it was a web lead. And right now, giving everything that she's doing, I just forwarded them. I've been forwarding them to her, just like, because we've had a couple this week. And I was like, I'll give these to Jack because she's working her ass off on the pipeline. So like, here's a web lead, follow up. And do you have that? Did you pull that up yet? Let me see.
You need me to pull up the email?
Yeah, where is it? Yeah.
Yep.
Just a great response.
Well, and I have ripped off all of you on this email. So there's a little bit of Giuseppe in there. There's some Hauber, some of mine, some
We're an
Dave.
incestuous bunch. It's fine.
Imitation and flattery and all
Some
that.
of Casey, go fuck yourself. Get out of here. Oh,
In
he
spirit,
doesn't
in spirit.
care. He's got like whatever. I'll just go find another deal.
Hang on a second.
What are you supposed to do about it?
I've got it, Dave.
Okay.
Well, you
You want to share?
live.
Yeah.
There you go. And then she'll push this out to everybody. And that's when it comes to overcoming stuff like this, it's just having an arsenal of data available to you. So look at his email. Oh, well,
you want to see
show
his
him
original?
his email. Yeah, show his. Probably won't call them traffickers and first-time home buyers. Oh, that's not the first one. Go down.
This is his first
The
one.
first-
This is him. Well, his original reach out.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
one,
he
yeah.
had found, he works for Cherry Creek School District, and there's apparently a flyer floating around in their intraweb with the old Zenith at Work program. So she reached out to Jessica. Jessica obviously didn't respond, so then forwarded the email to our generic email, and then that's how it got to me.
So then,
And so then
Jacqueline says, here's Jacqueline's response. And then his response. He's talking about Chapel loans, but he's talking about buying a $1.2 million house with down payment of $400,000.
this was my response.
Makes sense.
So,
Well, and I'm not sure, he doesn't need if you've got 400 grand, you don't need $1,000. That's for educators, but that's fine. And he's not even technically an educator. He's an IT in Cherry Creek School District.
yeah. And then I love the line, "I would love to help you. Here is how I work. Our best first step would be to jump on a quick call so I may get a better idea of your home ownership and long-term financial goals so we can build a plan together for moving forward. This also gives us an opportunity to answer any questions you might have about the overall process." And then going into, here's like coordinated time for purchase consultation via Zoom or in person. And then I love what you said, like, here, schedule a time with me. If you want to learn a little bit more about me, Google reviews. As a Zenith certified buyer, you can. And then she rattles off the 4 things. And so I haven't seen the response, but you said, let's see what the response was. There you go. And so then you had the call with him yesterday?
Had a call with him yesterday. We went through a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of information, and then they're looking at his father-in-law as their realtor. He's already ready to start putting the application together. I'm running some numbers for him on the property he's looking at. And then we just talk through like buy down and all of that stuff. Cause he was like, yeah, we really want to buy down the rate. And I'm like, well, let's talk through that and like what that means. So
Yeah. The point is, the really good part about this is that you didn't answer the question. You answered him without answering the question. So you don't have, just because the guy like, here, send me your rate. Tell me what your rates are. It's, I'm reading Crush Price Objections. They have one of the things that he talks about in that book was like, can you pass the flinch test? Right? Like the flinch test is when somebody responds or says something to you in a way that makes you go like this, you go like, ugh, or do you freak out because they brought up rate or points, or feel like, what's your rate? And like if you flinch, you lose, right? It's like, oh, well, that's great. So you've been following, like, however you answer that, but if you can't pass the flinch test, you're probably going to lose. And that's a good example, Jack, of doing a great job of acknowledging, responding, and then acknowledging and then responding in a way that makes them go like, okay, yeah, let's talk. Because if you had just sent the rate, they'd been like, okay, great, thanks. Now they're focused on it and they're going to see what somebody else has. And then what's your rate? And what's your rate? Now they're going to make their decision based on the rate that they get, the rate quote that they get. So good job. It was a really good job. Well handled. That's all this is, guys, when it comes to this rate thing and preventing and overcoming price objections. It's like you have to have an arsenal. There's not one thing. It's everything. And no matter what you do, you're never going to have, if the lowest rate would win, the guys with the lowest rate on bankrate.com would be doing all the loans, right? Or lendingtree.com or wherever they hang out. I don't know where they are, but the rate table guys. And I remember when I was doing loans, when I first got, we didn't have the internet, you didn't do all this shit. But you know what we did have? We had the Rocky Mountain News and the Denver Post. And in the Rocky Mountain News and the Denver Post, there's a half-page ad every fucking day of the week with like 50 lenders and a little box that big with, here's our rate today. Here's our rate today. And everybody could just like, oh, well, he's like, and then it was just like, this is the dumbest thing. Like, it's like, so how are you supposed to choose? I guess I'll go with this guy because it says he's got I'm going to compare everything on this piece of paper. So it was like, there's always been rate comparison's been going on forever. If that's how it was, none of us would have jobs, right? We would have never had a job, right? You could have never won because the lowest rate doesn't always win. So, because clearly, right, the lowest rate doesn't always win. Look at all the lenders around the country that don't have the lowest rate and do a shit ton of volume. So just good job, Jack. Really good. What else? Anybody have anything else you want to talk about or bring up?
That was good, Jack. I was going to say just redirecting, right? And telling them how you work right up front. It doesn't matter if it's a purchase. You know, if I ever get like a Redfin referral or something on a weekend, right? Those are like the worst because they always have to go make an offer right now. Like I don't even talk to them. I just reply back, here's the best first step, complete a loan application, right? If they don't do that, then that's fine, right? I haven't spent any time doing it. And they're always talking to like 7 lenders anyways. When we were really busy with refis, same thing. Like Ryan saw, right? The auto reply was always the same. It doesn't matter if they're like, we think we want to do a 15-year fixed, or what are your rates for this? Or I want to take out this much cash. It doesn't matter what it is. The reply was always the same. If it's a purchase, same thing. Like that's a perfect example. Great, this is how we work, right? And if they never schedule the call, then you're probably never going to get that deal anyways. So good way to protect your time.
Yeah, this is how I work is like, it's like you planted the flag and you said, if you want to work with me, this is how I work. And I've said this before, you can't just walk into the dentist office whenever you feel like it to get your teeth cleaned. And the dentist isn't going to even check you in. And you can't just sit in the chair and say, like, here's how I want you. No, I don't want this. I want that. Here's how I want to do this. You're like, well, those are the clients that you really, those aren't the clients. That's not your client. But you all appreciate a very professional experience with any professional that you deal with. It's like, oh yeah, you got to make an appointment. We'll schedule a time. We'll do the intake. You're doing it, right? So that's it. Don't succumb to that, because the customer starts out that way because they don't know what else to do. Oh, I'm buying a house, so I'm going to start looking for lenders and see who can give me the best price, right? And they don't even understand what they're asking. So good job, Jack. Really good. Good.
I was
Anything?
going to say something about kind of like Jay, because it reminded me like how when I started, like I know how hard it's been. I wish Jonathan could hear this too. He just left, but I know how hard it's been the last 3 years. Trust me. I go from 150, 200 loans a year to like 80. Like it's not fun. And I understand how hard it is for you guys too, Jay and Dean and Jonathan, the newer guys, but like when like the flywheel effect, Dave, right? Like for Jay, it's like when you're not getting loans, you wake up, you're like, oh shit, like, oh, it sucks, you know, but when you start getting those wins, you're waking up, you're like, and then your confidence gets going and like, it just keeps going. So like, just keep it going, man. You're going to be fine. It's going to be awesome. Just like do the work. Doesn't matter what you do. Open houses, cold call. I used to drive around. I'd go home on my way home from work at the old Littleton building. I'd pick up flyers in the neighborhood, and there's still flyers on the listing signs, and I'd call those people and be like, hey, I live in the neighborhood, you know, I saw I called Steve Travers. Remember him? He used to own the old neighborhood. Yeah. And you just do whatever you got to do, man. But like, what else what's the worst that could happen? They're going to say no. Okay, go call it's all numbers too. Call 50. You're going to get 10 meetings and then it turns into a game and you get confident. You're like, I'm going to see how many people I can get today, you know? And so just keep it going, man. Good job, Jay. Free contract.
Thank you.
That's awesome, dude.
Thanks.
All right, gang. Good call. Thanks, everybody. Keep your attitude up. Keep your energy up. That's the deal. Like I said, like if you don't think attitude matters, just listen, right? This is great. Good job. I'm proud of you guys. Good job. Thanks.